Welcome back to Towing Industry Insiders. On today's topic, I want to cover one thing that I have seen multiple times that is wrong. Okay, flatbed drivers, or aka light duty drivers. When you are driving a flatbed, you need to focus on your tie downs 110%. That is your main focus when towing a vehicle. Okay, so I've seen multiple people with multiple companies where I'm currently at. And I'm not going to say any names or of the companies because I'm not trying to bash on anybody, but tie downs are your most important. Okay, your winch cable is not considered a point of contact for your tie down. I've seen multiple towing units that have used their winch cable and a J-hook. That is completely wrong. That is 110% the most incorrect way you can ever tie down a vehicle. Okay, so an 8-point tie down, that is what you need. Okay, it is a 4-corner strap with a wishbone. It wraps around each tire and ties the vehicle to the bed. That is what you want. You want it to be able to be tied to your bed and not be able to move. Your winch cable needs to not be your main point, because it is not a point of contact. People can argue with me all they want with it, but I've taken a seminar course for 8-hour course at a tow show that explains in details about what your tie down points should be on a vehicle. Okay, now, like I said in the last video, I've been doing this for 10 years. Currently, I am not a tow truck operator due to problems I've had in the past with my body not wanting me to continue, I guess you can say. So I decided to invert my way into the insider of the towing industries and kind of explain to people a little more in depth to possibly pique their fascination with the towing industries and maybe turn it around to where you too could be a towing operator. Now, I can tell you right now, being a tow truck operator is not an easy task. It is very hard. It can be frustrating. It's long hours. This isn't your typical 9-to-5 job. You have your choices though with the company. You can be on calls. That means you take your truck home with you and you take calls after hours of you being off of work. That's what I did. I worked 24/7 around the clock, 7 days a week, 1 week, 5 days a week the next week. Now, with me explaining this to you in a little bit more depth, there are some people out in Ohio that I give credibility to, and I thank them a lot for what they have done for me. They have taught me a lot about the industry, and they have taught me the right ways of doing stuff and the wrong ways of doing stuff. I can't name really any names, but they know who they are. My last job in the towing industry was one of the most amazing places that I have ever been. Granted, it was frustrating at times, but I learned quite a bit on it. I wasn't your typical tow truck operator who just went on calls for accidents, police calls, stuff like that. I did the more in-depth of what it was. So I was a light duty operator. I've been a light duty operator for the whole time I've been in the towing industry, and I have not changed it. But I have learned that the towing side of everything changes. Okay, I've learned medium duty stuff, I've learned heavy duty stuff, and I've learned my typical light duty stuff. Now, I did more majority of Tesla calls, which peaked a little bit more into the towing industry side of electrical vehicles. Now, electrical vehicles are your most dangerous vehicles that you can possibly do in a light duty field. Now, there are typical tie-down points that you can use and you cannot use. There are typical things that you cannot do when towing a EV car. Now, with that being said, I'm not going to go into depth with the Teslas because there's only certain companies out there that provide partnership with the Tesla company. But going back to it, my last company, I learned a lot. The owner operator, he took me under his wing when I first started there, and he pretty much taught me how to do a little bit more so that I can show up on rollover scenes and accident scenes and be able to hook and go on that. Now with the heavy duty side, he taught me more in depth on how to strap a vehicle, or if we're rolling over a vehicle that, or a semi that had flipped, we would grab the equipment that was needed and he would walk me through it, tell me where to hook it up, how to secure it, everything like that, so he can do the initial flip over so we can get the road open and everything like that. And I really wish I could say it, but I really can't. So I just want to say thank you for all that you have taught me. Like I said, I can't go in depth. I don't have permission from a lot of the companies that I've worked for to expedite that company's name or the people that are in the company. Now, there are people on my Facebook that already know me and my Instagram. They know me from those past companies, and they know exactly what I know how to do. So I want to pretty much incite you guys and let you guys have the opportunity to ask me questions on anything that piques your interest. This video, I'll show a little bit of some different types of vehicles in the towing industry that can be used, but like I said, it all depends on what your company offers. Now, there is a course for training purposes. I'm not going to go in depth on this video on it until I get the right motive to be allowed to say a little bit more than what I can. So with that being said, I'm going to cut this video now. I just want you to stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more to come, and I am ready to take this journey with you guys if you guys are willing to take it with me. So just remember, stay hooked, stay informed, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.